Paladin Biz Coach webinar series. Today I'm going to be doing a webinar on gift bundles, how we can increment sales in our stores and try to attract more customers into the store buying more products. That's what it's all about. And I have Chad Klein, who is assisting us. He will be answering questions. If you have any questions, feel free just to write them into the text box on the screen in your dialog box there that came up with GoToWebinar. This will be recorded, so you will be able to see it at a later date. And Chad, I can still hear you if you wouldn't mind muting your phone.
My mistake.
All right, very good. Now it's a little quieter. So at the end of this, there will probably be a short 3 or 4 question survey. If you wouldn't mind taking that, that would be much appreciated. You are in listen-only mode right now, so you are not able to speak. But if you do wish to speak, just raise your hand and or, well, write a message in there to Chad that you want to add something. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's look at the agenda here. So we're going to go over the goals of this webinar, the gift bundle strategy, gift bundle ideas, applying sales and promotions to create those gift bundles, a little bit about utilizing the kit feature for really expediting these and making these easier to work with, making the bundles easier to work with, how we then can price the items. We can price them as kits or on sale. We'll get into that in great detail. And then we'll talk about how we get started in moving forward with this. So our goals are pretty simple. We're going to learn different ways to sell product bundles in Paladin using the Paladin system. I'm going to give you tips on making gift bundles, making them unique and appealing to customers. And we're going to discover how to set up those bundles in Paladin Point of Sale. And the primary goal here is to drive incremental sales and increase traffic in your store. And that's what it's all about. And as we come towards the holiday season, it seems like the holiday season is starting earlier and earlier every year. I think there's a lot of people, I think they said something like, was it a small percentage, but yet still a percentage of maybe 5% of the people are already done with their Christmas shopping. But we have a lot that kick that off around the Thanksgiving time frame and all the way through Halloween time frame. It's that early. And even, of course, Thanksgiving is a big kickoff with the Black Friday and so on. But we want to be prepared and we want to be ready. And you want to participate in that as well. You know, I don't care what kind of store you are. If you're a store where people are entering, you're going to want to offer gifts so that it makes it easy for your customers to buy gifts for not only for themselves but for others as well. So our strategy. So what is a gift bundle strategy? Well, that is what type of things do you need to prepare for and do in order to pull together gift bundles? Well, number one, you want to identify your market opportunities, test the market if you can. So interview or talk to some of your staff members, some of your customers, and really look at your community and what are some of the market opportunities that you have? What's unique in your area that might be attractive to different people? If you're in an area that's booming, that has a lot of new homes going in, you might want to put together a do-it-yourself new homeowners kit or something of that nature. The gift baskets in pharmacies are also very popular. So, you know, kind of identify what those market opportunities are and do a little research on it to make sure it's right. Make sure you have the right resources. You've got to have resources and the infrastructure set up to support this. Right? You just don't want to haphazardly throw a couple of things out there and make a couple of bundles. And you want to make this successful. You want to make sure that you've got product in there in the house. You've got the infrastructure. You've got the people and the resources to support it. And you've got the real estate as well. So you got to put an area out there, maybe in the center of your store or at the front counter or somewhere where you can really display these gift baskets. Establish the best timing. When is the best time to do this? Well, any time after Halloween, in my opinion, is a good time. But there might be certain things that, events and such, that it might be better for you in your area to time it with. And then what's the last thing in the strategy? Bag it, tag it, display it, and sell it, baby. That's it. Get those items ready to sell, get them sold, and make sure you have plenty of products to fulfill those orders. All right? Well, so what are some of the ideas that we have on gift bundles? So in my opinion, what I like to see is I like to see gift bundles that have, obviously, they're going to have relevant product in there, but it uses components of the bundle to package it. So a 5-gallon bucket would be a great gift wrap or container, if you will, for a lot of big items. Maybe using twine or ribbons and cellophane or whatever you need to do to wrap those things up. Cans, tubs, drop cloths, any of these things. Just make the items that you're using to package it, make them part of that bundle, and it just looks more obvious of what it is and what you're trying to sell and what you're trying to push. All right, so spruce it up with different colors, shapes, sizes. This is basic stuff. Add different things to it that are catchy, that really grab your customer's attention. Make it presentable. Make it look really good, and it's going to be easy decision for people because they're looking for things right now to buy for gifts for their husbands, their wives, their family, their kids, their neighbors, their friends. And by having these things readily available and kind of targeting different sectors of that market, you're probably going to move these products a lot faster. In addition to the complementary products that you're bundling, you can also add things like service vouchers, gift cards and gift certificates, one-of-a-kind items, rarities that nobody else can offer, and include them as part of the bundle, and it might entice people to buy those and give it a little bit more value, a unique value, than just pulling things off the shelf and out of stock. So I think those are some of the gift bundle ideas that hopefully you'll be able to utilize. All right, so how do we apply these sales and promotions in Paladin? Well, it's really simple. There's a couple of different ways to do it. One, we can just add a sale list. We create a sale list. We put those items on sale. And that way, when you bring the bundle up to the front counter, yeah, they have to scan every item because it's in there as a sale list, right? But you can also create gift kits, and these kits means that you don't have to scan every item in that box or in that basket or in that container. All you need to do is use one SKU, and it will proliferate through in that invoice all of those items and put it at the special price that you have. So a sale list, although it is one way to set up these promotions and sales, it's not the best, in my opinion, for bundles. It just depends on what you're trying to achieve and to accomplish. If you want to make a bundle an optional bundle where they can pick 3 out of the 5 things that are in there and just buy those, that's fine, that's great, that's perfect for a sale list. But let's look at the next screen here. It talks about utilizing the kit feature for sale bundles, because it's a kit feature that's really going to pull it all together for you. You can define when you create a kit, first thing you have to do is you've got to make sure your kits are activated on your system. So you've got to go into, I believe it's under the company tab under setup, and I'll look and I'll make sure, or it could be under the invoice store tab. I don't know. Since we broke out the invoice tab from the company tab, I get confused as to what's in there, but we'll take a look. We'll make sure that we identify where you have to activate the kits. There's a couple of different options on kits too. You can also click hide kit items. So if you wanted to, that's more for a secret recipe, if you will, where you can just have one line item with the total price, and it hides all the components of that kit, in the actual invoice. You can do that as well. It's not relevant for this particular subject. Then you need to add well, before you can even activate the kits, you have to create a kit class. It can be any number. I think I use 2002 a lot. It's just a common number that I use for kits. But you just create a kit class, and then you can activate your kit, and it's going to ask you when you activate your kit, what is the class number, and that's where you'll put that ID number that you use to create that kit class or your class kit. All right, so the next thing you need to do when you create your trigger item, so back to the slides, define the kit trigger item is either a new SKU or the main selling item of the bundle. Now, regardless of what you need to do, or regardless of which one you choose to do, whether it's a brand new SKU with a zero price, and then you add all the components of the bundle, or you use the main selling item with the price, you need to flag that inventory item with the kit class. So class 1, 2, or 3 has to be identified as that kit class, whatever number you choose, in my case 2002. But do note this, you cannot sell items outside the bundle if you use that main selling item as your kit trigger. This is very key. You may want to sell an item outside of that bundle, and if you try to with a bundle created using that SKU number, that main selling item as the trigger, it will not allow you to do that. It will populate all those other items and fulfill it as a bundle. That's why I kind of recommend create a new SKU. It's really a sort of a dump SKU, if you will. And then in that dump SKU, you'll just set it at a zero price. You'll make sure that it's earmarked as to never be reordered again. So you just lock in maximum quantity of item at 0, and it will never show up on the suggested order report. And I always do give it a total number of how many of these bundles I'm creating. Like if I'm creating 100 bundles, I'll give it a quantity on hand of 100, even though it's a non-SKU or a dump SKU. It can track the sales of those bundles in addition to or in lieu of actually going into the specific items and looking at the items and the components of the bundle. All right. So what's the next step? So the next step after you create your trigger item is you go to the invoice and quote module and you add the kit items there. So you start out with your trigger SKU as the top item, and then you add all the items underneath that. The kit SKU will be the trigger items part number. So that will be the cheat code, if you will. That will be the code that it uses to bring up and populate all the items. So that'll be your, so in the case of creating a new SKU, you're going to want that part number super easy. Like I created one, I'll show you. It says new DIY, new DIY, meaning new do-it-yourselfer. All right, and then last, you just store that as a kit, and that is how you do it in Paladin. So I'm going to jump into Paladin, right? Well, let me talk about pricing the kit items as well real quick here before we jump into Paladin. There are a couple different ways to price a kit. One, you can only price the trigger item and then keep everything else at 0. Or you can price all the kit items and not price the trigger item. And we talked about creating this trigger item as a 0 priced item. That, in my opinion, again, is the best way to do this. And then all the other items can have their prices however you want to set them. They can either be set up in the sale list, or it can be set up in the invoice and saved as a kit price. Either way, it's going to be, I would assume it's going to be a discounted price, because they can either buy those items individually at full price, or they can buy it in the bundle at a discounted price. As far as discounting items, you can discount, as I just mentioned, you can discount items using the sale list, and you can also discount items in the kit. So those are the two different ways that you do that. This will be more clear when I get into the demonstration, which I'm going to do right now. So I'll go ahead and bring up Paladin. I am bringing up Paladin somewhere. Goodness gracious, where did it go? All right, let's see, monitor 1. Here we go. Ta-da. All right, you should be able to see that. So when you log into Paladin, yep, can you see the screen okay?
Yeah, we can see it just fine. I was letting you know.
All right, thank you. So we're going to File Setup. I'm going to show you how to activate kits because they don't come standard on in the system. You have to go in and turn them on. I'm going to try the first place where I think they're at is under Company, the Company tab. And I think they might have moved from here. Yeah, I don't see them. They'd be right up on top. So they're probably under the Invoice Store tab. Here they are. That's right where it is, under Invoice Store. We used to have all of these flags in with the Company tab, and we moved them out and broke them out into their own section. So they're under Invoice Store tab now. And it says right here, the second one down, Enable Kit Functionality. And what is the kit class number? And it's actually 2222 that I use, not 2002. And then again, as I mentioned below that, there's one that says Enable Hiding of Kit Components. You can hide kit components as long as those components have a price of 0, and then they will stay off of that list. But it can still decrement from inventory appropriately. But let's not get caught up on that right now. All right, the next area where we have to, well, the first area we have to create a kit class called 222. So as you can see in here, if I can get to it, 2222, where's my kit class? Oh, I'm under location. It would help if I went to the proper tab here. So let's go to kit, to classes. Here we go. So kit setup is 2222 right here. So you must set up a kit class first. It doesn't have to, it can be any ID number you want. It doesn't have to be 2222. You just create that. Then the second step is go to Invoice and Quote, or Invoice Store, enable kit functionality, and put in that class number. And then you're set up for kits. So you're ready to go. Once you have the kit set up, then you'll want to create your inventory item. So I created an item, and here's what I thought I would do. I thought I would create a bundle that was designed specifically for new homeowners that were that needed tools, right, to do it-yourself jobs around the house. So I created a kit, and I just called the part number New DIY, right? And that is a just a part number I used. I called it, the description is New Homeowner Do-It-Yourself Kit, right? And my pricing, if I go to my pricing tab, I got 0 cost, 0 sale price, but I do have 100% margin out of this, because if there were any discounts in the, or if I set the other components to a 0 price, pardon me, it would need to compensate that by putting 100% margin for this item. I'm not going to get into that right now. There's a little bit more involved in that, with making sure that everything's in the same department so that your revenue reports on the margin doesn't get skewed. All right, so let's continue. The next tab is the General tab. You'll see that my class, number 1, I didn't have a class under number 1. You may have a class under number 1, so you might have to put this under class 2 or class 3. That's totally fine. Just make sure that that kit is set up on this trigger item. All right, then I have it in department hardware, just to share the same department that all my components are going to come from. All right, and that's all there is to it. I also mentioned I went into order control and I set my max quantity, locked it in at 0. That keeps it off the suggested order report. So if I run a suggested order report, it's not going to say you need more of these new do-it-yourselfer kits. All right, so that's all there is in setting up a trigger for a kit. Now, once you set up the trigger, then you just build your quote and you save it as a kit, and you're done. So I've already done that. So if I type in New DIY and hit Enter, boom, there's all my kits right there. Now what I have is I have a drill kit, a bunch of different bit sets, screwdriver bit sets, drill bit sets, a tool belt, a claw hammer, tape measure, and it all goes into a nice little convenient toolbox. This is a kit that I put together. Now notice the price on this. Notice that what I've done to these prices. Normally $79.99 for the drill. I'm giving it to them for $59.99. Drill bit set is also discounted. Everything on here is discounted. I wanted to make a round number of $99. Let's keep it under 100 bucks. We're still making margin on this, and we're selling products. We're giving people in the store, and we're fulfilling their desires of finding gifts for their friends and family. So I think this is kind of a cool little gift packet here, and you can put this together nicely. So for hardware stores, there's a lot of different creative things you can do. Same with pharmacies. So what if I wanted to sell the 18-volt cordless drill kit separately? All right. So I'm going to get out of that, and I'm going to scan my drill separately. Now the drill happens to be on sale. It's not quite as steep of a discount as it would have been if it was in the bundle. In the bundle, I think what was $59.99. This we only have, I think, 5% discount. And that's the same with all the items. So if you scanned all those items separately, I put all these items into a sale list, but all these items that are in that bundle total $136.26 as opposed to $99 if they buy it in the bundle. So this allows you and enables you to still sell those products as one-off. So you can still sell a tape measure, you can still sell a wooden 16-ounce hammer, and so on. It gives a little bit of a sale price because I've added these into a sale list. But what's nice about this is if you buy the kit, you know, and I can see the kit by going into recall transaction, go into kit, and select new homeowner DIY bundle, recall it, and boom. It's the same as typing new DIY in my part number, and it just populates all this right there. So kind of a cool way to do it. Again, I've got a nice price. Well, how did these prices get in here? I just manually added them. So I went in and I scanned the first item, and well, the first item I put in there was the new homeowner DIY kit trigger. That was the first item I put in. And then I went in and I added all of my components, and as I was adding them, I noticed my price of $130-something, and I said, well, I want to make this $99. So I just went through individually on each item, and I just went to the price column, and I went in and I changed these prices so I can come up with the perfect $99. So this is just another creative way to entice people to buy things. Yeah, it's under 100 bucks. It's normally 136 or whatever it was. It's a good deal. So that is how you work with kits. That is how you set up bundles. And really, I don't have anything else unless you guys have questions. That should pretty much cover this webinar. I hope it was useful to you. Chad, you want to come on and let me know if there's any questions we have here, or if there's something that you, Chad, think that I should have mentioned here that might be helpful?
No, I thought it was pretty thorough explanation there of what they can do. No questions at this time either.
Well, very good. Well, thank you guys for attending. I hope this was useful to you. I hope you have a great holiday season. I hope you start nice and early and put lots of bundles in your store, so that gift bundles, so that people can, like me, can go in and conveniently buy things to cross off my Christmas list. And hopefully we'll see you next Tuesday at 9 a.m. We do have another webinar then, and I can actually pull it up right here. I'm not sure which, or maybe I can't pull it up. Chad, do you happen to know which ones we're doing next week?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, let me take a quick look-see here. Everybody can see this as well. You should be able to. Just going into my webinar. So upcoming webinars. So we have show customers how to buy more from you. So that is, if you show them how, customers will not only know what to buy, but who to buy it from. That's the idea behind giving in-store demonstrations, showing customers the steps to successfully perform home and garden projects. Chad, you'll be doing this presentation.
Fantastic.
So, it's probably time to prepare.
I'm so ready.
All right, guys. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.